The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily representative of the Coalition or of any other entity. This content is intended for mature audiences only.
Throwdown. What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 91, the third attempt. I am your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, everybody? You know, 91 sounds really familiar. It almost sounds like 3 times familiar.
Yes. Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And Brian Munjoma.
I just had this weird guy come to me and say, is it too soon? And something about the future, and I was right about him. I don't know what that means.
Yes. Oh man. Okay, so what's going on tonight is we had to actually upload this shit, because we were having some weird technical difficulties. I think it may be related to what's going on in Dallas right now. Who knows? So we're recording this just locally and we'll upload it. So apologies to anyone that wanted to check us out live. We always love having you guys live with us and stuff, but fortunately, can't really do it, Okay, so right now what I'm doing is on my end, I'm trying to just keep it full screen, right? Which makes me realize I need to look at the show notes on my phone.
Fine. Yes, and pay no attention to the thing in the corner that says off air.
Yeah, we're still on air.
Don't worry about that.
I could, what you could do in post thing, you could have a little overlay or something to cover. I don't know.
We can cover the overlay with something else that says like Throwdown or something.
On air.
We got options.
Anyway, so yeah, the reason we're talking about this is so stupid. This is the third time we're saying this shit. So episode 91. The reason that's a big deal is because this is we've matched the previous Throwdown basically. That one ended at episode 91. Now this one Throwdown is at 91. Obviously, we're going to keep going more and more and stuff, but it's a milestone regardless. And as Manny pointed out ages ago, 182 episodes if you think about it all together, crazy shit,
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's that. Quick shout out to my man Paul Lane. I was on his podcast earlier today and stuff. I had to make sure I didn't curse. Keep it clean for the kids. Because the shit is radio. You can't be doing all that nonsense. Even though Manny's like, yo, man, you can say shit. No, you can't.
You can, come on, shit and bitch.
Yeah,
you can get away with that.
Not on radio, apparently, unless it's like a rapper or something, right? So yeah, shout out to him. And then shout out to Mr. Adam Boyes. Why are you giving him a shout out, Tony, you fucking Sony pony? No, my man, he's left Sony. He's gonna be doing games independently, and you gotta wish the guy. Look, even Phil Spencer wished him luck. Come on, man. You think these guys buy into that console nonsense? No, they don't. Come on. So yeah, Adam Boyes, I'm looking forward to the games you make. I got to look into this man's history. See what games he made previously, so I know what to expect.
Yeah. Expect you. Maybe he's working on Death Stranding. Woo! No.
Yeah, right. Oh man, and that's pretty much it. So again, so stupid. We're doing this a third fucking time. But anyway, okay. So tonight's main topic is a console without. I was gonna say without borders, without exclusives. It's a play on military sans frontier, right? So basically, inspired by something that happened to me on Twitter. Basically, it was a dog pile, bunch of Xbox came at me, and I'm there with my shield and my sword, what I'm saying, like a Spartan, and I held those motherfuckers off. But it was all good, even though I had like 700 fucking messages and shit
and replies.
Yeah, it was insane. So basically, it all started because, and I just spoke the truth. Even though, maybe it was my fault because I didn't realize what would happen afterwards. But I said, hey, listen, guys, console exclusive is kind of a bullshit term. You shouldn't be buying into that. And Xbox doesn't actually have exclusives anymore. That's all it took. That's all it took for these dudes come at your boy. So that inspired me to just, talk about it. Really to inform guys, okay, what is an exclusive and what isn't an exclusive? Because there's a clear distinction, but now, it's like the terminology is being changed to fit an agenda, right? Which is kind of fucked up. So what is an exclusive, right? But a miserable patch of secrets.
So poor pile of secrets.
So, okay, yeah, but what is an exclusive? An exclusive is a game that's only on one platform. that's an exclusive. That's what a exclusive has always been, you know. So now they're trying to change it to, hey, now a console exclusive is exclusive to a console. But it's like, if you're also on PC, then you're not technically exclusive anymore. You're not, you know. And Street Fighter V started that nonsense, sticking that bullshit right on the box. And at first I'm like, okay, that's dumb, but whatever. And then when, you know, you went to the Microsoft thing and you heard Manny's favorite phrase,
was it Windows and Xbox exclusive?
Yeah, by the 10th time you heard that, it's okay. This is fucking dumb now, guys. You're on some bullshit. Like, this term is dumb, you know? So I just wanted to get all of your takes on it.
Windows Windows everything exclusive.
Yeah. By the way, people, I'm sorry, because I have to do some shit behind the scenes. Brett wants to get back on. So I'm going to have to do this. So, Manny, go ahead. Actually, to start with you, Manny. What's your take on this whole console-ness?
I mean, I definitely believe that, where it's like now there isn't officially any Xbox exclusives, but at the same time there is pretty much, you know, a Windows exclusive. Now you know, I think you know, in a previous iteration of this conversation, Chris made the point that essentially it's, you know, it's all the same ecosystem now. It's all one.
Yes.
You know, and it makes perfect sense for them to do something like that. Is it a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing.
It's not. I want to point that out. It's not a bad thing.
You're still not going to see that stuff on a Sony console.
Yeah, exactly. But you're not going to see it on a Sony console. But at the same time, Manny, isn't actually an exclusive.
No.
Oh, man, Chris, get in here, man.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's the same point. Manny's right. It is a Windows exclusive because Xbox and PCs are both running Windows, right? That's the ecosystem that they're in now. It's Microsoft. But same thing on Sony side, guys. This is all balanced. Look, I love my Xbox. I love my PlayStation 4. I love playing in my living room and doing stuff. I do play on PC once in a while. I got a Steam backlog a mile long now because of the sales.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we all have to face facts that the times are changing, and now there's besides Nintendo, and who knows how much life they have left in them. Like, they are the only ones now with true exclusives, right? That don't go anywhere else but on their platforms.
Well, Sony kind of does. I mean, all the stuff that's made by their studio is all exclusive to Sony.
Sure. And this is mostly talking about Microsoft stuff. I mean, we saw the E3 conference. We saw everything going forward is, like you said, Windows 10 and Xbox exclusive, which means it's going to be on PC and Xbox. But that's Microsoft's ecosystem, and that's where they're going with this. And unfortunately, it may be that they're moving towards Xbox just being Windows 10 gaming or Xbox as a service soon, you know?
Yeah, I mean, some people have been talking about that, and I believe that's happening because, remember, Microsoft's main revenue isn't from gaming. It isn't, you know? So I could see that, just like phase it out and just make it a service. I could totally see that.
Well, yeah, I mean, at that point in time, you won't need to spend all this money on stupid consoles or anything like that. Or, you know, at the same time, all they would need to worry about is consoles. What if they decided to not make any actual physical games anymore?
They wouldn't need to, you know.
They wouldn't need to.
They just make it all, because if it's going to be on PC, right? Make it all digital. No one buys fucking digital PC games unless it's Brian. But yeah, Brian, get in here because I want to ask you. You know, I want to ask you, what do you think about the you know, these guys that say that, you know, PC guys and Xbox guys are really part of the same family and one supports the other?
No. How are they? There's a reality difference between the two. There's difference in mindsets, difference in attitudes to things, and difference in behavior. So they're definitely not part of the same family. They just happen to play the same games because Microsoft just said, "Hey, let's build games for Windows PC as well now." After like years of neglecting the PC, so again, Microsoft has a lot of work to do to get back in favor with PC gamers. Because again, I don't think that people have forgotten how bad Games Windows Live was. So
yes. And then there's the other side. Remember when Microsoft was trying to throw all this additional stuff, you know, keys and all kinds of stuff on their games to prevent piracy and stuff like that? Remember all that?
Okay, as like a quick sidetrack, companies should spend less time trying to prevent piracy and more time just making good games. Because pirates will pirate regardless of what you do, and these guys will go to the ends of the earth to pirate your game. So there's no point like stopping legitimate guys from like getting hold of your game. And what else was I saying? Yeah, Ubisoft does that, and everyone hates them on PC.
Yeah.
And it's for that reason. But it is nice that Microsoft are trying. As long as they have learned their lessons, then that's good. But this whole exclusive things, like you guys already know me. Like I hate the term console exclusive. It's literally a term that was created just to like win a fight that doesn't really exist.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly. Thank you.
Like we have this as a console exclusive. It's like, but that's not really a exclusive. Yeah, but it's a console exclusive. It's like, so what? Like that's not an exclusive. Like the whole point of this is this system has its exclusives. That system has its exclusives, and then there are multi-platform games that are on multiple platforms. Hence the title, multi-platforms. So like once we start saying, oh, well, this game is a console is exclusive, that's when things start becoming like very just dumb. It's like, what is a console exclusive and what isn't? Like, is The Last of Us a console exclusive or not? Because technically it's on the PS3 and the PS4.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's on technically multiple platforms at the same time. But people wouldn't say that, oh, it's a multi-platform game. People say, hey, it's a exclusive game. It's like, like, just stick to like the terms that everyone knows and likes and everyone is consistent, which is exclusive and non-exclusive, and everyone should be happy.
Yeah. Hey, Brett, happy you could join us, man. So, Brett, in case you don't know what's going on, we're actually not live in front of an audience. We're recording locally because it seems when we go on air, things tend to fuck up.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of traffic hitting the internet for very good reason. So
yeah, we briefly talked about it. Obviously, Throwdown, we don't want to talk about that sort of stuff, but it's kind of fucked up what's going on here. But Brett, what's your whole take on console exclusives? Because I don't know if you weren't here for that, but basically I got into a big kerfuffle with a bunch of Xbox guys when I said console exclusives are not actually real exclusives if they're on other platforms. They disagreed heavily on that, and it seems on this podcast we're all like leaning to no. If you're on PC and a console, you're not actually an exclusive. So what's your take on it?
I don't know. I think that I guess here's where I go with it. You could say it's a Microsoft exclusive, and boom, problem solved. And for all we know, like, honestly, I haven't been paying that much attention. They could have been saying Microsoft exclusive, but I think they've been saying Xbox exclusive, which is a little weird. But
actually, they've been saying, Manny, what have they been saying?
Windows 10 and Xbox exclusive.
That's what they've been saying.
Okay,
exactly like that.
Platforms, Brett, 2 platforms. So I'm like, that's not really
two platforms, one company. So you can say also, it's a Microsoft exclusive.
Can I just jump in like really quickly? They did say that they are in talks with bringing some of the games to Steam as well.
So if they come
to
Steam,
it's not just Windows Store. It's also going to be on other digital distribution platforms on PC.
Theoretically, it is still on Windows.
You could say it's locked down to Windows 10 as a requirement, but like at that point, you're pretty much just splitting hairs. To be fair.
This will not be on a Mac.
Yeah.
Or not be on Windows 8.
Just slap that on the box. Not on PlayStation. Just slap that on the box. Not on Microsoft.
Not on Apple and not on PlayStation.
Yeah. But Brett, I want to get your thoughts on, because basically people are trying to tell me, PC guys and Xbox guys are pretty much the same. They're supporting the same thing. So what do you think? Do you consider yourself a Xbox guy? Because that's what they're saying. If you're a PC guy, you're also an Xbox guy now.
I suppose it would depend upon the context of the argument. If you're saying, do I support Microsoft and their products? No, I technically don't. Now, if you're going to say, but Brett, you use a PC, I would say, yeah, I do. Said, so you've purchased Microsoft products, and I would say, no, I haven't.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, by the way, I just want to say this. I actually tweeted that out. I'm like, hey, PC guys, do you consider yourself as part of the same family as Xbox? Without there was no deviation. Everybody said, hell no.
Well, it depends if you're feeding the machine. Like, are you buying a Microsoft product or are you buying a Microsoft exclusive? Like, it's really weird when you get into the PC versions of things, because, like, yeah, I guess it's on a PC, but a PC is also Linux. So are you telling me it's only available on Windows? And if so, like, are they paying you royalties to use and develop on Windows? Because for a long time, it doesn't really cost anything to develop for Windows, as far as I know. So it depends. Is any of the money that me, the consumer, pays going back towards Microsoft as a corporation, either for exclusivity rights or patent use or anything like that? And if so, then yeah, I'm feeding the machine. Especially, like, if Microsoft is making money off of this and their competitor isn't, yes, I am partaking of a Microsoft exclusive, because by the very nature of the way that they have set things up, their competitor does not get money from it, and they do. So I am technically buying something from Microsoft, even if it's in only this weird incremental, theoretical bit. So, but I want to say most of the time, none of the games that I actually play have anything to do with Microsoft, either in development or licensing or anything like that, as far as I know of. So for the most part, that's where I think it becomes shades of gray. Me, myself, I play on PC, but I don't tend to support any of Microsoft's products, so I wouldn't say that I'm a fan of Microsoft or a user of Microsoft. If I happen to play a lot of games that were made for the Xbox, essentially, partially owned by Microsoft and put on PC, then you could say that. But I think it comes down to the games that you play. And again, I don't own Xbox for the most part because I don't play a lot of Xbox games, because they tend to be a certain kind of game, and that tends to not be my bag. So, shades of gray, not a Microsoft consumer personally, but I feel like you can be. That doesn't mean that you can't be, or that every PC person isn't. It just depends on what products you buy and where your money's going, I guess. I know that's a really unsatisfying answer, and as most things in life, it's nuanced shades of gray that is completely unsatisfying. So, welcome to being an adult. Yay!
Oh man, but you know us, man. We want to keep this shit black and white, But because the thing is,
I'd like to keep it black and white too, but it's not black and white.
Yeah, but the thing is, at the end of the day, a PC gamer and an Xbox gamer are not the same thing. Like these guys are trying to insinuate. There is two different mentalities, as you've pointed out many times, Brett.
No, but if you play a bunch of Microsoft games,
yeah, then you might be supporting Microsoft.
These games that they're talking about, they're like, that are exclusive. When somebody says a game is exclusive to Windows and Xbox, then probably yes, it is a Microsoft game. And if you play that game at all, no matter what platform you're on, you are part of their consumer ecosystem, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You are part of the machine. You're putting money in their pocket. But if you don't play those games, then it's not that way. It's just Microsoft bring their service into... Think of it like Microsoft they have their own store, right? And everything in this store is Microsoft. So if you go into the store and buy something, it's Microsoft. That's Xbox, okay? But now this store goes out to a local convention, and they set up a booth. Now, you go to that convention. If you shop at their booth, you are one of their customers. If you don't shop at their booth, you are not one of their customers. You can't say everybody who goes to the festival is one of their customers just because you walk by their booth. But if you buy their product, you are their customer. Is that black and white enough?
Yeah, see, that makes sense, but that's a good point. It's like, but again, these guys are trying to say, no, if you have a PC, you're automatically an Xbox guy. It's like, you guys are fucking dumb if you believe that shit.
Well, they're trying to make a point that supports their statement, but in fact, the truth is much more nuanced than that.
Yeah, it's just silliness. But yeah, it's like, obviously, this is all going on because, Microsoft doesn't actually have any real exclusives anymore. So they got to stick with that nonsense. But something we talked about on the other previous version, again, just the third time we're recording this shit, where, these guys are like thumping their chest about how the Scorpio is going to be so much more powerful. And Chris brought up the fact that, yeah, but the PCs that are going to be coming out when the Scorpio comes out are going to destroy it. PCs destroy the Scorpio now. Remember what Carlos was telling us, like, after, I think it was before Otanime. He was like, yo, my CPU has 11 flops, teraflops, so his shit already destroys it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you can run configurations now. I mean, look at the 980 now, which is not the latest GeForce. It's a 1080. And the 1080, I think, is approximately 8.5 teraflops. It's already faster than what the Scorpio is spec'd out to be. And that's now.
That's now, exactly.
Right? And you can run that shit in SLI. You can run a 980. A 980 is 5.3 teraflops, which is almost the spec of the Scorpio. But it's still, you could do so much more with your PC. Like, you can have an obscene amount of RAM. You could SLA 4 cards in there. Like, it's, you know, it's just like, it's not a contest after that. And then when we get to the next generation of GeForce and AMDs that are running in double-digit teraflops, right? Then what are you going to say?
Yeah, you know, but then again, these guys are, you know, this is the other side of the argument. They're like, hey, most people don't play on PC, so it doesn't count. So if it's on Microsoft and PC, it doesn't matter if it's on PC because no one's going to buy that anyway, so it is an exclusive. That's the workaround they do. It's like, no, it's still on PC. It doesn't matter if only one person buys it. It's still on PC.
That's very short-sighted. That's discounting a lot of people. Of course, that's discounting Brian and Brett right there. It's like people don't play on PC. I think, yeah, plenty of people play on PC. That's like a very stupid thing to say.
Yeah.
I mean, Blizzard makes their whole business off of look how many casual people play World of Warcraft. Where are they playing that? They're not playing that on Xbox.
They don't count because they're on PC apparently. You know. By the way, you know, these guys were thumping their chests this week about this game called Inside. It's like, oh, it's a Microsoft exclusive. Like, yeah, that's true, but you don't have to own an Xbox to play it. I bought it on PC.
That's the game by the guys who played Limbo, right?
Yeah,
you know, they created Limbo.
Yeah, so much for that exclusive, right? I bought it on PC, you know. And then I saw this other one. You know, it was you know, fuck. I'm trying to come up with a different name for him. You know, shit gamer, right? This dude was talking about, oh, if you buy the PS4 version, you're not getting the superior version of Mighty Number 9 for Xbox. Like, they're okay. First of all versions of that game are shit.
Actually, the PC one is the only one that runs properly.
Yeah. PC one's, yeah. It's still shit, but it's better than the Xbox version. But a lot, you know,
it's better than the PlayStation and the Xbox version.
Just watching these guys, you know, I guess just, you know, covering their heads in the sand is just insane to me, you know. But it's like,
for Mighty Number 9, there are two different. There are some sections where the Xbox One actually does better than the PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
and the Wii U just is shit.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any problems running a game. It's just a bad game. You know, Chris,
look,
you're gonna say
what kind of crap gamer? It's like, why are you even arguing about Mighty Number 9? It's a shit game.
Yeah, well,
like, why even bring that up?
Anything, Chris. Anything.
Yeah, it's just mental gymnastics. Look, I enjoy the games I have on Xbox One. Like, I have Killer Instinct. I have Rare Replay. It's like, yes, I can enjoy some of that stuff on PC, but I like to be away from my computer because I work at it all day, and I like to go in my living room and play games, which is why I'm excited for things like Star Trek Online to come to the consoles, right? Because I don't want to sit at my desk for 18 hours a day. It's like, oh, I'm done working. Now I'm going to run this MMO and play for another 6 hours.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's a valid point, you know. But, you know, again, these guys are always just looking for something. So, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Console exclusive, that's a bullshit PR term, man. It never existed until this gen. Never existed before this gen. You know, but these companies like, hey, we got to keep... You know, the thing is, companies are, you know, they try to be slick about it, but they feed into this console war shit too, you know, with this stuff. You know, and console exclusive is just another part of it.
You know what that is, though? That's them having their cake and eating it at the same time. If you can guarantee that you will also not only make, if you were only, you know, sign up for an exclusive with one console company, and you can guarantee they won't stop you from making a PC version, you're making good money. You know, especially if the game is actually good.
That's true, you know.
So it's like, okay, it's doing incredible on the consoles, and it's doing incredible on the PC. On that console, and it's doing incredible on the PC.
But it's a console exclusive.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh man! All right. Any other words on this before we go to the next?
All I gotta say is plain and simple: PC wins.
Yes,
because they're getting all the games that are supposed to be console exclusives,
and they don't have to pay for Xbox Live,
and they don't need to pay for Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus.
Exactly. That's just the fact. You know. All right, moving on here. We got to talk about this Counter-Strike shit, man. You guys heard about this?
The lottery?
Yeah, so basically, you know, I'm gonna give a quick rundown, then we'll get into it. So basically, okay, if you guys didn't know, Counter Strike actually has like betting. Like, there's like a bunch of sites that let you bet on in-game items and stuff, right? Like, you put items into a pool, and you know you could win and stuff, and it's kind of looks like a slot machine, right? So one of the bigger sites out there is CS:GO Lotto, right? And two of these guys, you know, they pretty much on their YouTube channels, and these guys together, I don't have their names again, I don't have my show notes, but between these two guys, they have like 10 million subscribers, right? And they have a ton of videos, you know, where they show how they're winning a ton of money using this gambling shit, right? It was discovered that these two guys who go to these sites to bet on, you know, CSGO, you know, a lotto, they're actually the owners of the site. They got exposed big time. All those videos they did were fucking staged. You know, because obviously they could go behind the scenes and rig it, you know, so they could win. You know,
well, they could rig it. They also get a percent of everything. So even if they lose, they're getting money, right?
Yeah.
So this is on all sides. It was shady.
Yeah, but again, they stage these videos so they could show themselves winning, being really enthusiastic, and then people watching will be like, "Well, I want to be like that. I want to win all that money. I want to win $13,000 with a click of a button," you know. And then the thing is, these guys were shady as shit, because in this product description, they're like, oh yeah, here's the site I use. This site is pretty awesome. I just discovered it. You didn't just discover it. You fucking founded the site, you know? It's crazy.
That's what people are calling them out on, because they can't take that back. They apologize and say, oh, we didn't want to do anything illegal. You lied about the site.
Yeah, you plain and simple, you lied, son. So yeah, it's insane.
So I'm guessing that site is closing down now.
Yeah, the site's going to close down. You know, it's just, to me, I never, you know, this goes beyond video games. I never understand how people could do shit like this and think they're going to get away with it. You know, they're just blatantly fucking lying to people and ripping them off like that. You know.
Yeah. Well, now a lot of the people who used it, who got suckered, they're now filing Federal Trade Commission lawsuits against them.
Man, yeah.
So they'll get once the feds get involved, that's that.
Yeah, because not only that, they violated terms of service on YouTube too. You
know? Right. There's just multiple problems with what they did.
Yeah, to say the least, you know.
So essentially, they just made their own ads for their own thing.
Basically,
yeah, it was complete bullshit. Yeah, it's complete bullshit.
Fucking crazy. Brian, I want your thoughts on this, man.
I don't know exactly what happened, but it seems like there's a lot of bullshit involved. And it seems like these guys are definitely they're up shit's creek without a paddle, and then they just coasted through there somehow, and now they've entered like shit's lake.
Yeah, shit lake. No, man, they're about to go to shit ocean, because couldn't they technically arrest them too? Like, this is some fucked up shit, man.
Yeah, I don't know about arresting them, but there's several lawsuits being filed against them, so they're definitely going to have problems.
And then the thing is, these gambling sites in general are pretty shady, because, okay, let's take a legitimate gambling site, right? It is heavily regulated, right? So minors can't get in there. What's going on with this shit, with these CSGO sites? It's a bunch of kids betting on these fucking things. Right. Spending a lot of money. Check this out. You guys are going to be blown away by this. You know, I got the show notes here. So last year, these sites took in $2.3 billion.
Yeah.
That's
those guys? Those guys specifically, or all of them?
All of them. But think about it like this. If they're just a piece of that pie, they got a lot of fucking money. You know? Yeah. So it's just shady on all levels, man. You know, so yeah, you get what's coming to you. You know, yeah, they made that bullshit apology video so fucking insincere, you know. You guys fucked up, you know. Oh,
we're so sorry, guys. We just really wanted you to go to our site, and we didn't know this was wrong.
Yeah. It's just like with Hillary Clinton. I didn't know that was wrong, and the bitch got away with it. You know. Anyway, Brett, I want to hear your thoughts. Man.
Obviously, just not knowing means that you're not. Everything's cool.
I didn't know I couldn't kill that guy.
Yeah, it's funny. Because other people who do much lesser crimes, like smoke pot, get told ignorance is not innocence. So that's it's funny to me.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that shit here. Brett, thoughts?
Repeat the question exactly.
What do you think of this whole mess?
The CS:GO lottery, the gambling.
Oh, I mean, just it's obviously bullshit, and it's obviously just con artist kind of shit. Like, I thought that was pretty apparent. Like, it's just shitty people doing shitty things and finding a way to skirt underage gambling laws. I mean, that's got to be like, nobody's gonna be like, oh man, kids are gambling on video games? What are the odds? Oh my god, they're smoking the fruit-flavored cigarettes. Oh, holy shit. And drinking the margarita mix. Who would have thought? Like, I don't know. Fucking everybody who's ever been 13?
Oh my god, children are gambling with bottle caps?
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, nobody should be surprised. And the fact that if these guys are feigning surprise, they're just assholes. So...
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing where, like, they literally went on and said, hey, we discovered this site. This site is cool. It won us a lot of money. And then turned out they are the founders of the site. And they then disclose that shit. You know?
Oh, yeah, no, that's absolutely fucked up. And that's why I was like, yeah, that's just, like, straight lying. That's like snake oil salesman level of lying. And, like, yeah, pin their ass to the wall for that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man,
I'd be surprised if anybody disputed that, though, to be honest. I'd be surprised if anybody like, oh, come on. I mean, it wasn't like that big a deal.
No, yeah, who's gonna say that? You know,
anybody who was partnered with them, anybody who was in on that scam. That's the only people who would. Yeah, you know, and they act like they can just erase things. They deleted all those videos, right, where they said like, "Oh, I made money off the site and stuff." They tried to pull that down. You guys are fucking on the internet. Do you not understand how it works? Like, somebody saved that shit and put it back in your face. It got posted everywhere. Like, you guys are frauds. Like, you can't erase that.
Basically, you know, that's the way. I don't know. Now I can't get the Hillary Clinton shit on me. It's like, yo, it's almost the same thing. You know, it's like, oh, we didn't know. It's like, no, get the fuck out of here. You knew exactly what was going on. You know, get the fuck out of here. All right, let's move on here again. I got to look at my show notes here. What was the next topic here? People are still asking me what happened to Throwdown. It's not live now. It's you know, we're recording it now. So shut up. I'm busy doing this.
Shut up.
We're doing this old school where you didn't see when we recorded these things.
Yeah. Okay. So
we came from the ether.
Exactly. Damn. So okay. So you know Microsoft's whole thing, right? Play anywhere, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They're apparently backpedaling on that.
Wait. Are you saying I cannot play anywhere?
No, you cannot. Okay.
Why?
So basically, let's see if I can pull out the. Okay, so the original, thing that they said was they said this at E3, right? Every new title published from Microsoft from Microsoft Studios will support Xbox Play Anywhere. That's what it said. Again, I'm going to repeat it. Every new title published from Microsoft Studios will support Xbox Play Anywhere. Now it's every new title published from Microsoft Studios that we showed on stage at E3 will support play Xbox Anywhere. So, why are you changing your messaging here all of a sudden? What's going on? You know, Phil Spencer came out and say that, oh yeah, no, because some games will just be real exclusives, some won't. You know, which kind of makes sense. Like if they have a exclusive game on PC that can't run on Xbox, I guess that gives them a little bit of a workaround or whatever. But it's still you're still backpedaling on what you said.
Well, I could see what games are not Xbox Anywhere. Maybe any of the sports games.
Well, remember, it would be. Remember, this wouldn't be for third-party games. It would just be for Microsoft's games.
But it just would be for Microsoft games.
Yeah.
And didn't they say something along the lines that publishers had the opportunity to opt into it if they wanted?
Yeah.
To that?
Something
but
like
that was on the stage, wasn't it? I remember that being there.
Yeah, but then that only applies to third parties. Like, this is purely for Microsoft published ones.
So even the Microsoft published games won't even may not support Xbox Anywhere.
Only the ones that shown at E3 on stage will.
Yeah, just those. So they did a little bit of backpedaling there.
Well, maybe they, you could say that they were clearing up, something that seemed very murky.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Because I don't know. Chris, what's your take?
Well, it's really interesting. I don't know why they would backpedal on it now. Like, you would think this would be a feature going forward, so they'd be able to guarantee it, especially if they were publishing the games and vetting them. So I don't understand why it's now just what we showed at E3 only. So everything after that is not? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, what about afterwards? You know? I don't know. Microsoft, it's the same thing with Microsoft, right? Their fucking communication's always off, you know? But I don't know. It's stupid. I just find that interesting. They started backpedaling on all this shit, you know? But, I mean, it's not like anything too egregious, but something, worth noting regardless, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one, Chris, man, I thought of you when I threw that. I always throwing that one story for you, Chris. All right.
Is it Nintendo?
No, actually it is.
Oh.
So a report came out today, actually no, a couple of days ago, among other things. Nintendo said a bunch of things that they expected to sell. Oh, by the way, and shout out to Phantom Vash who put me and Chris onto this one.
yeah.
Nintendo expected to sell 100 million Wii U's. And
They're a little off.
Yeah, a little off, but by like 90% off.
Yeah.
And they said, it's like, hey, literally what they said was, the Wii sold that much, we expect this one to sell as much too. Literally what they said.
That's not how things work.
Yeah.
It's like, hey guys, stop sniffing your own farts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that projection was way off, and I read it was on a NeoGAF thread, and I read the quote that Phantom Vash sent us, and where it says in an internal sales representative meeting, someone projected we would sell close to 100 million Wii U systems worldwide. Why would you go like, yeah, that sounds reasonable?
Yeah.
Like, we won't question that at all. Like, we don't have like market saturation or confusing marketing messages or anything. It's going to be great. Like, ridiculous. Like,
That's because most of those marketing guys are idiots, and Nintendo just somehow thinks that they're the top. They somehow think that they're the top video game company as of now.
Yeah, they still think that, it's the fucking 80s and 90s,
A legend in your own mind.
Yeah. Oh,
it's just so ridiculous. I don't know. Maybe when you hire a soda jockey to run your marketing, that's what you get.
Shit.
I don't fucking know.
Oh, Brian, man, I know you got some shit to say.
100 million? I mean, like, what was he smoking? Like, literally, what?
Obviously, they're all
shit, man.
Obviously, they're all on Mario's mushrooms.
Okay. Some guy just walks in and says, "Hey, you know what? We're going to sell. Oh, we're going to estimate that our console will sell 100 million copies, which means that it will be the third highest-selling console of all time.
Of all time,
like,
yeah.
Like, who does that?
Nintendo, that's who does that. But Brian, they said, "Hey, the last one sold that much, so this one's gonna sell that much too."
We're gonna make so much money, woohoo!
So still not in business because he doesn't Do you go to the manufacturers school of predicting things where you're right or you're wrong, ridiculously right or wrong? It's like 100 million. Screw it, just say a billion.
Yeah. I mean, whatever makes you feel better at the end of the day, because you didn't even get close to that.
When they sold 12 million at most.
You're talking 12 million, 100, man. God damn.
Brett, go ahead, man.
Oh. Is Nintendo Kanye?
They may be, man.
I'm pretty sure Nintendo is just Kanye at this point. They're I'm gonna sell 1 million records, and because I'm great and I sold 1 million records before. What? No, that's not based in any kind of reality. That's just pure hubris and well wishes. May as well fucking say because I threw a quarter into a fountain, today's gonna be a great day. It's okay. That makes sense if you're 4, I guess.
Well, I mean, this is a fantastic example of, I'm always saying that Nintendo doesn't pay attention to trends or anything that's going on, even though inside sales, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to see hey, people are playing on their smartphones. Oh, hey, the PC market is changing. Oh, hey, Steam. Oh, hey, this, that. No, they're just in their own bubble. They don't look at anything, and they just look at their past successes. Unfortunately, you didn't look at your past failures. So, I mean, let's just look at the Wii. Let's not look at the GameCube or N64 or any of those. No, just look at the Wii. It was great, and we're great. So we're going to do great. Like, that's completely ridiculous.
Are you saying Nintendo failed?
You have failed.
You have failed.
What's that phrase where it's like those who don't heed the words of history are doomed to repeat it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, bro.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the quote. Yeah, what's it? Those who don't listen to history are doomed to repeat it, something like that.
Yeah, it's like
Nintendo.
Well, at least on the plus side, it's entertainment for us.
Very much entertainment. Thank you for giving us a topic for tonight's Throwdown. And
Which reminds me, I need to check out what's that? Is it TriStar Johnson?
Yeah, Triforce.
Yes.
Triforce.
Triforce. That's the one. I don't fucking know his
That's
name.
a Sony company. What are you doing?
Oh no.
I was thinking of TriStar Columbia.
Yeah, there you go.
I need to find out what he's saying about this because I think that he'll have some really entertaining words to say.
Yeah, he actually did buy 100 million. He just didn't tell anybody.
He bought 100
he
million
bought
Wii
them
Us.
all. Oh man! All right. This next topic is here for you, Manny. I actually wrote about this. So basically, what's the name of that YouTuber? The Game Theorists, right? He went to
Yes, Matt Pat.
Yeah, he went to fucking Rome to meet with the Pope and stuff because they were having like a summit about how the internet can make things better for people, right?
Yes.
And he how you got to give the Pope some. This is the fucking Pope,
Yeah.
right? So you got to give him some. So he decided to give him, I'm guessing, a Steam code because there's no physical copy of this.
He gave him a Steam code for
Undertale. So he did that. I wrote about it, and because I knew about Undertale, but I didn't really know about it. So I did some digging, and apparently, like the fan base is really zealous. They're really fucking crazy. Like GameFAQs had a poll of not a poll, it was a tournament, the greatest games of all time, and Undertale won. Out of all, it beat everything, like Super Mario 64, Metroid.
Wow.
It beat everything. Chris, Ocarina of Time, Red Dead Redemption. It beat everything.
I would care to debate that, but all right.
But yeah,
I wouldn't say that game is the greatest game, but I do understand why he gave it to the Pope, because it is in a lot of ways it's a good example. It is a good example as to that gaming is not all the same. That it's all that for Undertale you can beat the game without actually killing any of the monsters. You have a choice over this, and that no matter it is about like differences and stuff like that. Not judging people by the way they look, by what they're considered and stuff like that. And that's what he wanted to give it to. But I think what I think is also important about this, not exactly that it's Undertale that he gave it to him, is the fact that in general, what he was doing is also trying to show that trying to change the narrative as to gaming. The only thing that people hear about gamers in popular media is all the horrible things, all the shit that people do. Like being one sect of gamers being misogynist, another being racist, another one being all this other stuff. The thing is that we're not hearing any of this stuff from the actual people. Not everybody are these horrible things. Gamers are all types. They come all shapes and sizes. And the thing is to let those sorts of things get out there and not being able to control the narrative. That is the biggest problem.
Yeah, so I guess that I guess that's a nice gesture. But what I did find interesting when I was doing my digging. Apparently, the game has received a lot of criticisms that it's a SJW game, right? Because the game has an androgynous, basically it checks off everything, right? Has an androgynous protagonist, a bunch of gay relationships. You don't have to kill anything. It's all about feelings and it's all about togetherness. So,
But here's the thing. Why is this a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, but I just needed to point that out. People.
I was about to say, there's nothing wrong wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But people felt that the game was forcing that down your throat. Just
No,
again,
I mean,
just had to throw that out there. You know.
To be honest, I think it's just one person's solution to this thing. That yes, you can play the game. You can play the game any way you can play the way where you can murder every single monster in the game, or you can become their friend. To be honest, a lot of games don't allow you to do that. You can't. You can, for the most part, you can go through a lot of Metal Gear without actually.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. Why can Metal Gear do that? But this game is like it's designed like a childish game. Like why is it bad when they do that? Metal Gear, you could go around and not kill a soul.
Yeah, but that's some of the criticisms of the game's getting. It's a SJW game.
No, I think that it's good to have something like that. It's a bit of a different take on the whole thing. Like in other words, you could go the action route and beat the shit out of everything, or you can take the route where you actually sit down and talk to the other person,
to the monsters,
which is part of the problem. It's like half the time it's just reaction. In real life, it's just reacting. It's not sitting down and actually talking to people and saying what's going on.
Yeah,
it's people just basing all of their their ideas off of established stereotypes.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
So that's what it was. So it's like he saw it as a gift of, even though the Pope probably never played it.
Does Pope even have a Steam account? I doubt it.
He obviously doesn't. But the thing is, I just think that that's the reason why he gave the game to him, is that it's a sign of something, where it's like a game where you can just you're not forced to murder everything.
Yeah, I am the Pope.
I am the Pope.
I have no hope.
Hated and despised.
Rise from your grave.
No one gets the joke.
Hold this thing.
Yeah, Chris gets it. If you watch Howard Stern, you get the joke. All right, so the last story here. Marvel's at it again. Marvel doesn't seem to understand names. Okay, so this week they announced. By the way, they announced what's happening at the end of Civil War while Civil War II is still going on. So at the end of Civil War II, Tony Stark's going to step down as Iron Man, and we're going to get another Iron Man. Like, okay, another Iron Man. Iron Man is now...
Okay, before we move on...
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. Not even, like... I have a problem with everything we're talking about. Just what you said right now so far, full stop, I have a problem with that.
You mean that, hey, we're going to tell you how the story ends before it's over? That, right?
No, I have a problem with you retiring all of my favorite childhood, characters. Like, who does not like Tony Stark? Who has a problem with Tony Stark? One of the most, he has got to be one of your biggest characters right now.
Actually, just to clarify, Brett, he is their biggest character right now.
Okay, so why would you say, hey, the most popular thing we have? Let's get rid of it. Unless either A, you're not listening to your fan base, or B, you're trying to pull some new Coke level shit. Nothing in here makes any sense. There's no reason to get rid of Tony Stark. Everybody loves him. They say, quit replacing old characters, old, good, viable characters that have a proven track record and interesting stories and a wealth of backlog about them, and just being retired, killed. I don't give a shit who you put in as somebody's protege. I have a problem with you being Peter Parker, not Spider-Man anymore, and fucking Thor's not Thor anymore, and Wolverine's dead, and Captain America's doing God knows what at this point. I have a problem with you just fucking and dicking over your own storylines and dicking over your own characters, and what is the opposite of fan service? Is that such a thing?
We need to come up with a term, because I like where you're going with this, Brett. The opposite of fan service.
Yeah, you're intentionally antagonizing your audience. And I want to put this in specifically before we move on to the next part, because I want nobody mistaking the fact of who they're deciding that they're going to replace him with. I could give a fuck less.
Brian?
You could replace it. Couldn't give a fuck less.
There we go.
One of these days you're gonna break me. Okay. I couldn't give a fuck less who you replace them with. I really couldn't. The problem is that you're replacing them. So with that said, proceed, sir.
All right. I mean that. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, but
Can I just jump in like really quickly?
Go for it, dude.
I'd probably tell you like the reason that my guess as the reason why they're replacing him is that because he is the biggest, and people know him more. So by replacing the big gun with someone else, people will like by proxy, like not flock to them, but will see them more because like, hey, it's the new Iron Man, you know. And it's like, hey,
that's
I know
exactly
Iron
what's
Man.
going on. Yeah.
Well, let's look at the new Iron Man and see what that's like. If they replace like a small character that no one knows about, then it won't get as much attention.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure it's not more like we want to launch a new character, so we're gonna have them hijack a leading title for a while before giving them their own spin-off and see if that sticks?
I'm gonna stop you guys now because you're jumping ahead of where I wanted to go. I want to go down this road, but just not yet. And let me at least talk about the character first.
Yeah, okay.
Brett, don't let me more. I want to jump into it. That and we are gonna talk about that. Just not yet.
I kind of like that the character wasn't part of the discussion because it shouldn't be. Because it's not where any of our fucking gripes are. It's like, go ahead and let's address the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, Iron Man, Tony Stark, is going to be replaced by a 15-year-old black girl who's
Black woman, as they said.
No, black girl. She's 15. People got very pissed off at that.
But people have said that it's a black woman.
No. Some people no, but I heard other people saying you can't call a 15-year-old girl a black woman. You're trying to take away her childhood. People said that too. People were going crazy. So
if this were a guy, is a 15-year-old a 15-year-old man? Like that sounds
he's a boy.
Yeah, it's a girl. It's a fucking girl. So 15-year-old girl who's as smart as Tony Stark was at that age. She was a reverse engineer.
Smarter.
Yeah,
Smarter.
smart. Yeah, that's right, Brett. She's smarter than Tony Stark, and she reverse engineered an Iron Man suit, and I got her into the attention of Tony Stark in the current comics. So they're not just making her up for this. She's been around already. So she is now going to become the new Iron Man. So I asked the obvious. I'm like, okay, she's the new Iron Man. She's a girl. So she's Iron Maiden, right?
God, such a missed opportunity, damn it.
Yeah, I'm like, Iron Girl, Iron Woman? They're like, no.
Iron Maiden, yes.
Yeah, dude, Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden, excellent. And then, what happened? No, she's still Iron Man. Bogus.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait. So she's Iron Man, but is she like transgendered? Is she gay? No, she's a regular woman. But she's a man, right? And hold on, I'm just
a regular girl.
I'm like, so she's a girl, and she's man, and like, yes, exactly. And I'm like, okay, I'm checking out. No, shit doesn't make sense anymore, And it's like, am I just an old bastard and I just don't get it? Like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
At least she's not named Thor.
So basically, you can't. But now we're gonna jump into guys are talking about why aren't they calling her Iron Maiden? Why aren't they calling her Iron Woman? Because no one's gonna buy that fucking book because they know Iron Man is their biggest character. People are gonna buy that book, and now that you have a different person as Iron Man, doesn't matter if it's a woman. People are gonna buy that shit just the same way they bought the Thor book even though it's not Thor. Just how they bought the Hulk book even though it's not Hulk. Just how they bought the Captain America book even though it's not really. It is Captain America. That's a title, but it's like. Okay, basically, Marvel, struck quote-unquote gold with Thor, and now they're going with it. They're doing this shit with every character. And here's the thing. Thor, Hulk, Captain America were all replaced, right? And I said to myself, I'm like, it's kind of interesting that Iron Man isn't being replaced. I guess because he's the biggest guy, he's not getting replaced. Nope, getting replaced too. So again, going back to what you guys were saying, that's exactly what's going on here. They know for a fact no one's going to buy these books if they introduce them as brand new characters. If you introduce, Riri Williams, the Iron Maiden, no one's going to buy that fucking book. They will buy Iron Man.
How did that name make it past fucking focus grouping?
What's the name?
Iron Man? Yeah.
No, Riri! Do you
Riri.
really have a character named Riri?
Yeah, that's people complain about that, and not just white people. Black people are like, okay, so she has a big poofy afro and big hoop earrings named Riri.
No, dude. Riri is a derogatory slang for the mentally challenged.
Is it?
Shit. Really?
Oh, wait, is it?
You've never heard somebody refer to a mentally handicapped person as a Riri?
No, not really.
I'm pretty sure they used to like. I'm pretty sure Doug Stanhope has said that shit before. Like, it's definitely made it on the like main channel airwaves.
I mean,
Holy shit.
I mean,
I looked that up.
I'm trying to
Okay,
think of-
okay. Apparently, I'm the only. Maybe it's a Midwest thing. I don't fucking know.
Brett, it's fine because, remember the stack.
Okay, well, as long as you're saying it's fine, Brian, then I'm inclined to back down.
Progressive stack, just remember that. So yeah, so it's fine.
Progressive stack. But yeah, it goes back to what we always talk about. It's like, it's like, okay, obviously it's cool if you want to have diversity, but it's at the same time, it's like, come on, guys, if you really want, or you really want to be about it, right? Make them their own fucking character. Or just have them in the shadow of another character. But again, what we talked about before, they can't do that because no one's going to buy that shit.
I have to pause. Brett
Do
is
it.
100% right. I want to put this link right here. And he is correct.
Oh, Riri, there it is. And people can see that too. Man, hey, so wait, let's take advantage of that. No, fucking, never mind. Time, moment passed. Fucking link went away. So yeah, and then the thing that kind of set me off about this. I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but I need to bring this up because while this was foremost in my mind, diversity and shit, today Inverse.com they put out a piece where they're profiling this new book from Marvel called Mosaic, right? Has 2 black guys working on it. They forgot about a little somebody else, a Puerto Rican guy who may or may not be on Throwdown, who's also working on that show, on the book. So I was like, wait. So you're flaunting this book, Manny, and I understand if you can't talk. You're flaunting this book as look how diverse that we are. We have 2 black creators on this one book, and I'm like, okay, you're talking about diversity, yet you don't name the fucking Puerto Rican guy. I understand colorists don't get shine, but if you want to talk about diversity, you really go in. And it made me think, like, when it comes to diversity, and again, I'm not trying to offend anyone, I'm just being honest. When it comes to diversity, only blacks and women count. Latinos don't fucking matter. It doesn't count. Like people talking about how diverse Marvel is. I'm like, it's kind of funny because during the entirety of the 2000s, literally from like 1999 to like 2012, Marvel was run by a Hispanic guy. No one said anything about diversity, how great that was. Valiant Comics is currently the chief guy there. He's Indian. No one says anything. Isn't that funny? So if you go on my Twitter, I went off on a huge rant about this. How, if you're not black or a woman, no one gives a shit about you if you're a minority. And it's kind of fucked up, because, Riri, why is Riri, what she is? She is basically a older version of Moon Girl. Moon Girl, what is she? She's like a 8-year-old black girl that's super genius level. And I'm like, so Riri's the same thing. Why couldn't she be a Latina? I don't know why. Maybe that's not diverse enough, which is crazy. I'm like, but Hispanics are minorities too. What the fuck, Very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Because, here's the thing. People, I'm going off on it right now. I don't give a fuck. People always want diversity in comics, right? That's a great thing. But why do you always have to go to Marvel and DC? Why do you have to go to Marvel? Hey, I want a black Captain America. I want a woman Thor. Why don't you read independent books that already have a ton of fucking diversity in them? Go to any Comic-Con. I don't care what Comic-Con it is. Go to Artist Alley. You're going to find a shit ton of diverse people. They're women, blacks, all that shit, right? But why don't you pay attention to them? Because they're not Marvel. They're not DC. You could get the shit you want. You just have to step out of your little bubble there, It's just frustrating. All that shit you want is already there. Like people go, hey, let's make Captain America gay. How about you read books with actual gay superheroes that are already there?
My God, who cares? Like, any superhero could be gay. You know how it's going to affect how they're superhero? It's not. It's fucking not. None of it matters. There should be no way in which you could tell, like, a superhero is gay in the cowl. Like, it's a weird concept to me that we're like, we need more of this representation. Like, no, we need to just kind of, like, not and be like, oh, yeah, they're transgender. Oh, yeah, they're gay. Or, oh, yeah, they're Hispanic or black or Indian or Native American or fucking Eskimo for all I give a shit. Like, I don't care as long as the story is about a person first and foremost, and then, like, maybe who they are. Sure, you could have their trials and tribulations. Peter Parker dealt with being a teenager. You could have a character that deals with, racism or things like that. But put it through a fucking contextual lens and don't go high-roading it. Not every goddamn social issue has to take place in wealthy modern America. Fucking deal with some of the shit going on in the Middle East. Deal with the class struggle going on in India. Fucking deal with the civil unrest going on in Northern Africa. Fucking deal with the shit with Somalia. Like, there's so much global issue and so much human experience that you can try and capture. The fact that everybody focuses on this pedantic shit is just stupid.
I'm glad you bring that up, man, because the funny thing is a lot of the shit you just talked about, Brett, you can't find that in independent books. But no one wants to talk about that. Now, Manny, you get in here, you could at least talk about this, what, your thoughts on diversity when it comes to, other sources of where you could get it,
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, Marvel and DC are not going to if you're going to wait for Marvel and DC to provide you with the things that you want to hear or to listen, you're not going to get it right away. You sometimes you just have to change the channel to listen to the the songs that you want to hear. And then the minute that you decide to do that, that's when they start to listen, and that's when they start to look at what people are gravitating toward.
Yeah,
not just yelling at these guys. Oh, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. You know what? That's neither here nor there. There are all these different things exist outside of Marvel and DC. For years, I've worked in for quite a while. I worked in independent comics. I worked on a book that had an all minority creative team. My writer was Hispanic. He's Mexican. I had the artist was Kari, was black. Me, Hispanic. We worked on that book for 2 to 3 years.
Tell us about the characters in that book, by the way.
The main character in that book was a female of color.
But you didn't get any attention.
We didn't get any attention.
You guys were doing the same shit that Marvel's now doing.
We were
doing that shit years ago.
We were doing the same sort of stuff years ago. From almost every single point in my career in comics, I've worked on some character that is of color. My book, Kara's Magic, the Death Princess, there are only 2 white people in the book, and the rest are all of people of color. Different types of people of color.
But again, people don't see that because they only look at Marvel and DC.
Because at that point in time, that was not part of the conversation.
Yeah, but now I'm glad you say
that.
But now it is. Now it is, yeah. And look at me, like, for example, my favorite publisher now is Valiant. Diversity everywhere, but the difference is they don't shove it in your face. It's just natural. It's like, okay, we get a bunch of different kinds of people in there, representation. And it's even funnier because a lot of the Valiant characters that I'm reading now were around 20 years ago. No one was talking about that back then. Like, the biggest one right now that's coming out is Faith, right? She's like an overweight superhero, right? And people are like, oh my God, she's so great for the image of women, because that's how some of us look. We're kind of, big boned or whatever. I'm like, she was like that 20 years ago, though. Why weren't you talking about that back then?
Because that was progressive 20 years ago. So, not talking about it and treating it like it were just another person. Like, that was the fucking end goal, man. Like, I do not know when the goalpost changed from, like, everybody's in the same clubhouse, everybody has equal rights, to, like, everybody needs this, or everybody needs this special time in the spotlight, or everybody needs a little extra help. Like, the point used to be that you included these people and didn't make a big fucking deal about it. Like, I applaud Manny's approach of, like, you don't need to send fucking memos to everybody letting them know you're creating a black character. That is in and of itself kind of fucking racist. That's like somebody stopping in the middle of the restaurant, standing up and clinking their glass and like, hey everybody, I just want to say that I think that it is super great that Jamal here went to college and got his degree, and that is just an outstanding thing. Can we get a round of applause for Jamal here? Like, that's not cool. That's like 1950s era not cool. Exactly. But somehow we've framed it in a way that, like, we are now all applauding people of color or people of different body structure for doing the same thing that their counterparts do and being comfortable in their skin, which seems ridiculously weird to me.
That's really fucked up. And you know what? I'm going to need to bring myself into this shit. And my ignorant-ass family, right? My mom's side. They were, like, asking me, hey, Tony, how do you go to college? I'm like, on a bus, like, but you're in a wheelchair. I'm like, I took a bus like everybody else, you know. But the thing is, I've had to deal with this shit all my life. It fucking pisses me off where people try to put me on a little pedestal or whatever. This is why I'm kind of sensitive about it, you know. I'm like, yo, I don't like that shit. I don't like it when it's done to other people, you know. Don't do that shit. Let's celebrate the actual person, not, you know, their status, their skin color, their disability or whatever. Like, come on, that's kind of fucked up. To go back to Brett's story, Jamal, how does he feel about that when he's singled out? You know, he feels horrible. It's like, okay, granted, the person may have had good intentions. Like, hey, Jamal went to college. He's the first one in his family. Isn't that great? Yeah, that is great. But you don't single the man out like that. That's fucking embarrassing.
Even then, dude, even then, the sub-narrative is this person achieved something that everybody else does, and we're going to celebrate it because our expectations of them are so much lower.
Exactly.
That's like, oh my god, honey, look, the dog's walking on his legs. He thinks he's people. Like, it has that kind of fucking tone to it.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, dude. It's so fucking belittling and insulting when you do that shit, you know? It really is.
In general, it should never be, you know, just because the character is of a specific race, that shouldn't be the character trait. That should never be your character trait. Your character trait is your character trait.
Well, in fairness, I do know all of you as racial stereotypes. Manny's just the Puerto Rican. I don't know him beyond that. I don't care about his interests or his hobbies or anything like that. He's the Puerto Rican guy, right? I mean, and Brian's the black guy. You guys aren't actually individuals. You're just cardboard cutout stereotypes for me to place preconceived notions against.
Yeah, apparently, right? It's fucking crazy, dude.
Well, you know, in general, that's that's the sad thing of, like, our brains are so stupid. A lot of people these days that we can only base each other, you know, on generalizations, especially if you don't know them.
I honestly blame it, lay it at the feet of bad writing too. Like, it takes a good author, like fucking Lock and Key by Joe Hill, and I respect the fuck out of that guy for not using his dad's name and hiding it for years that he was Stephen King's son. But Lock and Key, like, each of the three siblings in that series has really strongly distinct personalities, to the point where as you get on in the series, you're like, I know what this motherfucker is going to do. Oh, I know how this person is processing this. Oh, this is going to be interesting to see how this funnels out into their social web. Like, they're well-rounded, realistic characters. And that is hard to do. And a lot of these characters that kind of beat the band on, like, look at this, it's a black scientist. Like, you're looking like, okay, well, what are his hopes? What are his dreams? What is his past? Is there a painful thing that has driven him to here? What drives him? What keeps him awake at night? And there's no fucking answer to any of these questions. And you're like, so pretty much he's a black scientist. Or pretty much you're like, you pretty much just stopped writing at black astronaut, huh? You thought you made the fucking unicorn of stereotypes, and you're like, good, box checked, end goal. Like, you can't just phone that shit in. I want to see real characters. And I'm honestly convinced more and more these days it's because somebody can't write a good character, so they're just like, I'm just going to slap some polish over this that's basically what other people have told me depth is, because I don't have the fucking human experience of a fucking French fry left in a couch. So I'm just going to, you know, skate along with other people, with what other people have told me is edgy and what other people have told me is deep, and then collect my pats on the head and fucking move along. Like, I don't know.
It's bullshit. That's what I know, man. It's fucking.
I just bullshit. I just feel like we shouldn't get to the point where it's like, oh, and it's you know, like you know, going back to the old one, it's like we should never try to replace characters that already exist. It's okay to have these characters. It's okay to have a Captain America. It's okay to have these characters as they exist, and we make new characters that are, that aren't, maybe they might have some similar powers or whatever you want to do with that, but make them their own characters. To be honest, I feel like the worst thing to happen to Falcon is the minute that he became not Falcon. I like Falcon.
Yeah, you like him as Falcon, yeah.
Granted, it makes sense that he would become the eventual Captain America if Captain America was, whatever. But I feel like at the same time, Falcon could still be Falcon and carry a Captain America shield.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't he kind of doing that already? Like, he's still flying around as Falcon, you know?
He's still Falcon, but I mean, I feel like we shouldn't need to do these sorts of things. And the only reason why a lot of these things are done is because I feel like that Marvel and DC do not have enough faith that they can create iconic characters anymore that people will continue to relate to, so they'll kind of do a bait and switch.
To be fair, though, Marvel's more guilty of it than DC. DC hasn't made up like a Black Batman yet.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Marvel's way worse at it. The thing I don't understand is, okay, so let me get this straight. Like, let's just put it in the context of this new Iron Man. So you're telling me that it is okay for somebody to say, I don't feel that this woman of color can succeed on her own merit. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and give her kind of a hand up and artificially inflate her popularity because, again, I don't feel that she's strong enough or well-liked enough or has enough exposure to actually climb the ranks and be a character of her own the way that countless other characters have before. You're basically looking across a lot of people, pointing to the black one and being like, you seem weak, like you're going to die if left alone in the wild. I better come in here and help you. Also, missed a great fucking opportunity to have an Iron Maiden, somebody who reverse engineers an Iron Man suit, and gets on Tony Stark's radar, but then goes fucking AWOL, refuses to join the Avengers, and pretty much stands for everything that Tony Stark used to stand for, therefore throwing Tony Stark into emotional cataclysm over what has he become. Has he become the man? Has he gone back to the route of being a maker of war machines the way that he was, the original thing that he tried to go away from? He became he went from the prodigal son to the rebel. Maybe he's gone back to the prodigal son. That is a deep and rich storyline in which you can have conflict between the current Iron Man and the new Iron Maiden that steps her up to be her own person instead of this hand-holding bullshit that you're getting ready to preach you and baby bird into my fucking mouth.
Yeah,
the thing that really upsets me about this whole thing is you lost the opportunity to build a new and strong character with clear strengths and weaknesses that could stand up to an industry icon. You just fucking passed on that chance because you didn't think that people were mature enough to be able to understand the complexities of a black fucking superhero. Yeah. To which I say, fuck you, sir.
Yeah, but I'm again, just to play the other side, just to be fair, look at history. Solo black characters have never made it. Now, even Black Panther, he's had a ton of comic books. Why? Because they don't last very long. I'm just being honest now. So
do you really think though that it's because people look at a comic book and go, I don't want to read a comic about a black guy,
dude? Some people are like that. America's pretty racist. And again, it's proven itself over time.
Well, okay, let me ask this to the people who have left New York now, because I gotta say, I think it's a little different in New York than it is in a lot of other places. Because I'll be honest, I would be fucking shocked to overhear that in a comic book shop.
Wait. Dude, so you're telling me that every single person that leaves the comment, I'm not reading I'm not reading a book with a black character is from New York. That's not true.
I'm saying a lot of them are fucking either immature assholes, obvious trolls, or the pocket full of racist people. But what I'm saying is, anywhere that I've lived, and I've not lived my entire life in Kansas. I've moved around Ohio, Chicago, most of the Rust Belt, that kind of thing. If I had ever walked into a comic book store and heard somebody recommending titles and heard the person at the counter go, yeah, man, I'm just not really so much into the black heroes.
No one's going to say that shit publicly, dude. You know that. No one's going to say that. But again, look at sales. That's where they're going by. Like, hey, minority heroes don't do that well. That's because a lot
of times they don't fucking invest well in them, and they don't write them well. They don't make them deep, grounded characters with pivotal narratives in the universe.
But
what about throwaways?
What about Black Panther? All his series have been critically acclaimed as great stories. They don't last that long. It's like 70 issues tops, before getting canceled.
Honestly, I feel like that's an archaic association. Like, I feel the name Black Panther as in the association with the Black Panther movement and all that kind of thing. Like, it seems like it's a character, and I'm not saying it is, But
we talked about this.
like,
It's not. But I'm talking about we're going to take it out of the realm of like people that don't read comics. We're talking about actual comic book guys. They know what Black Panther's deal is. Why are they supporting them more?
wait, so you're saying why do the people who know about Black Panther's story and enjoy his story not read more of his stories?
Why do people who know about Black Panther, why aren't they buying Black Panther books? I'm not talking about the people that enjoy it. I'm talking about people that know who Black Panther is, know his whole deal. Why aren't there, like the comic book guys themselves, why aren't they supporting him more? And why,
I guess I'm...
Yeah, go ahead. And especially, why aren't they supporting other minority characters who get their own books?
Honestly, as somebody who would probably fall into that realm, like I don't have a whole lot of money to spend on comic books. Like I really want to read the new Deadpool Spider-Man crossover, but I don't have the fucking money. If I had a ton of money, yeah, absolutely. But a lot of the times I pick up one of those books and it just feels fucking heavy-handed. Like Black Panther is a good example of not being that way, but there's also this perception. And after a while, like I do get sick of like the fucking shoveling of racial narrative at me. Like I love seeing characters pop up in comics and then being treated just the same. I love somebody mentioning the fact that like, oh, by the way, I'm gay, or like a woman saying like, oh, my wife at home, and then they're just continuing on. And again, I don't really, I guess, read a whole lot of single character-driven stories either, so like maybe that's just my own personal preferences. I like more complex stories.
Yeah, but again, I'm just trying to see it from their perspective. Like, okay, typically minority characters don't sell well, so what do? How about we just give them the name of an established character? And this goes back to what you said too. It's like, okay, people only have so much money to spend a month, right? They want to buy Iron Man books. They know they're going to buy Iron Man books, so let's make Iron Man a diverse character, and that book is going to sell.
But even then, they don't necessarily buy Iron Man again. And I'm trying to think of like I think Cable was probably a pretty good character. But people don't really regard Cable as a black superhero, because it's not really.
You mean Bishop?
Bishop, yeah,
excuse me.
But
the thing, actually, I thought you were going to go somewhere interesting though, because you're right. Cable, he's a white character, white as you can get. His stories don't, they sell okay, but then they get canceled after a while.
You want to know why?
Why do you think they paired him with Deadpool? Because they canceled the Deadpool books. Like, okay, these two guys aren't doing too well. Put them together. Go ahead, man.
You want to know why? Because Cable's a post. He's a leftover from he's a post. He's a leftover from the 90s. He has absolutely no personality.
Yeah, Cable only works in the context of a team.
So wait a minute. What you're telling me is that characters tend to sell well based on good personality, then?
Yes, exactly. But this goes back to Black Panther. It's like, okay,
that's why Moon Knight has never really been able to get it.
And he's white too.
Yeah, because Moon Knight in general, what is he? Bat clone.
Yeah, he's a Batman clone. Exactly.
He's a Batman clone. So what are we trying to do? We can't the things that we haven't invented. He's kind of a cookie cutter.
Yeah. But I will say, even though Black Panther's story, series keep getting canceled, they are probably the most successful black, superheroes books out there. But yeah, again, the way Marvel does it, I'm just not a fan of it. It just doesn't seem organic to me.
That's part of the reason why I decided to do. I have a choice as to what books I take and I don't take, and that is part of the reason why I took the book Mosaic. Because it was the chance to create something new, something that wasn't just a reset of some other character. It wasn't just something else that we just did before. It's a totally new character, and we're creating him from scratch, and that is why I took that book.
Yeah, again,
my name may not be in the press releases, or maybe sometimes they'll forget to put my name inside of a book, but I still have agency over some portion of creation of that character.
Yeah, but again, we should stress that yes, we would love it if they just made new characters. Like I always said in my mind, hey, how about for the next 10 years, new characters, just make them all people of color, so it kind of balances things out, right? But at the same time, the realities of it, at least for now, are they're not going to sell as well, But at the same time, if that's the case, why not introduce them in a team book that is going to sell well? And if that character takes off, then you could give them their own solo series.
I'm not going to say it's going to be very easy for Mosaic. I mean, definitely it's a hard room to kind of have a character set out on his own. on his own title.
You know what? Let's keep looking at Mosaic for the next couple months. Let's see how this solo minority character does on his own.
Dude, what about a shared book? Like, why is that not an option? Like, why could you not launch an Iron Maiden series in which Tony Stark's storyline plays a heavy part, and basically you have to read both of them to get the full story. Like, you can see Tony's side, but then he keeps coming across, like I said before, like, maybe he keeps coming across this young lippy upstart with her own Iron Man suit, and you know, the more interaction, you're like, dude, this chick is badass. She keeps out, like, she kicked Tony Stark's ass, she kicked Iron Man's ass, and then out-quipped Tony Stark. Like, that was pretty cool. She has her own book, you say. Well, maybe I'll check that out. Like, they used to do, Marvel especially.
Marvel team up. Remember that, Brett? Marvel team up. Yeah, man. Dude, I'm totally with you. And this is the section where we get to how do we solve this, because we're just giving you solutions now. You have team up books. You have put them in teams, and if people like them, you give them their own book. And you go, oh, I remember that guy from X-Men. He's cool. Yeah. I'm going to read about him now.
You have cameos. You have whole cameo runs where, like, and, like, even if it's, like, Civil War type shit, like, make some characters that are like, and that's one of the reasons I actually fell in love with Deadpool way back in the day, is Deadpool was somewhere in the middle between a hero and a villain. Like, you weren't really sure what he was going to do, which was, I found great, which meant sometimes he'd show up in a comic book and he'd be the bad guy. Sometimes he'd show up in the comic book and he'd be helping somebody. Somebody would show up in the comic book just to wisecrack and blow shit up. Like, he would just appear in other comics. Like, and I would love to see characters with that same kind of, I hesitate to say depth, but elasticity. I would love to see a character that, you know, why can't we have Iron Maiden also trying to be good, but thinking Tony Stark is being good the wrong way? I mean, did we learn nothing from Civil War? Like, there are so many shades of gray and so many people that think there's a right way to do things that you could have heroes in constant conflict with each other. You could have 3 main groups of heroes. You could have the fucking Avengers, you could have the X-Men, and you could have a new rogue group of people, and they could all be doing the right thing and battling villains and still come into constant conflict with each other. Yeah. And so you can constantly introduce new characters as rivals, as antagonists, as heroes, as saviors, as all kinds of things. But apparently they don't want to get into that kind of depth, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, you know, just to be fair, we don't know exactly what's going on. And this is what I said on Twitter. I said, this is how you can make the story work, at least for me, right? If she's Iron Man, it would be interesting if she's Iron Man, but nobody knows that's a girl in that suit. You know, it's like, oh, shit, you know, Iron Man's actually a woman doing all this stuff, but nobody knows that. Then it could work in that sense, you know, because if you see the suit she's wearing, she's actually wearing a variation of the Mark I suit, you know, the first Iron Man suit. She's wearing that, so she doesn't look like a woman, you know, it's this big hulking thing, you know, so I'm like, okay, if you could just play it off like it's a secret, then I guess that works, because apparently...
Even then, though, you're going to have to address I can't tell them I'm a girl because they won't accept me.
Nonsense. Yeah, and then, you know, and then we do know...
That's so bullshit.
It is stupid, but, you know... And Tony Stark is not, like, gone. He's still apparently going to be around mentoring her, you know, so he's still going to be a part of the book, you know.
I know. It's pretty much Batman Beyond, fucking Iron Man version.
Yeah, and, you know, one thing, because this is all part of Marvel's now. Now they're doing this every year, apparently. And it seems, this is interesting. It seems to me like the younger heroes are going to rebel against the older heroes, where they're like, what the fuck you guys doing? You're just fighting all the time. We want to be superheroes. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I saw one picture of Miss Marvel. She was burning her Avengers card and stuff. So that could be interesting, where she'd be like, hey, you know what? You're just some fucking drunken asshole. I'm going to be a better Iron Man than you. That could be interesting. You know, like remember Young Avengers? Like, no, we're just gonna be fucking heroes. You know, get back to basics. That could be interesting. You know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, even then, especially if it weren't even like, I'm just gonna go do my own thing, and be like, you used to stand for something. What the fuck happened to you?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's what they're trying to go for. It's like, you guys, like, what do you're always fighting. We want to be actual good guys, heroes. You used to stand for something. You don't stand for anything anymore. We're gonna, you know, take over now. You know.
You used to be a symbol.
So that could be interesting, you know. So they're Marvel, they're not completely lost yet, but at the same time, again, it just feels very, you know, our favorite word at Throwdown, ham-fisty. You know? Oh man. All right, that's pretty much it for the show here. Weird kind of show today, obviously. There's all this madness going on. But hey, we kept it together, right? The show must go on. So let me look at my notes here. So okay, this is fun. Because of all that crazy shit that was happening to me on Twitter, Torrance suggested something, and I'm gonna take him up on it. Okay, for you guys who don't know, he on the original Warzone. I'm talking about old school Warzone, episode 1 Warzone, right? When it was just him and hip hop, they used to have this segment at the end of every show called the Fanboy of the Week, where they would single out one fanboy and just call him out, right? He was like, Tony, you should bring that back. I give you permission to bring it back. So I'm like, and I thought about it. I just laughed my ass. I'm like, that would be hilarious. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it back. We're gonna do it once a month because once a week seems a little overkill to me. So I'll give it to you guys. Do you guys want us to bring the fanboy of the month back? I already have like 12 candidates. It'll be funny. Just something fun. So let us know what you guys think about that. Torrance gave us the permission, so we'll give it a shot.
He gave us his blessing.
Yes. So I'm like, hey, why not? I already got a bunch of fanboys we could call out on this fucking show, The other thing is obviously check out the quarterly report. Chris and I were on it. We run down all the games that came out from April, May, and June, and talk about some of the upcoming games. And of course, Otanime. That's actually the last Otanime of the normal format. We're going to switch it up. We're actually coming back in October where we're going to run down the upcoming fall anime and look back at the summer anime. We're going to see if that works better because the current formula, let's just be honest, Otanime is the weakest link of the Throwdown, thing, so that's not working. What we were doing wasn't working, even though people did like the fact that we did a anime book club type thing. People like, some people like that a lot. Like Colby, he was like, oh my God, I love that, but it's not really working. And let's just be honest, Otanime is really hard to put together because some people, I'm not going to name any names, but he wasn't on the last episode.
It was the series that he selected too.
Yeah, so wrangling people, I don't want to deal with that shit. I got 2 fucking podcasts I'm hosting. I appear on random other podcasts. I got other shit. I don't want to deal with that crap. So once every season should be good, and that's pretty much that. I get it. I don't want to do the show no shit. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to check out the links in the description. Check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube. You could check out the Patreon page for the Coalition. Please support the site, guys. There's literally like a handful of Patreons. It's like, come on, you could do better, guys.
Well, I mean, do we even know, as a Patreon, do we actually know what things they get additionally to when they subscribe? That might also help people to subscribe to it.
Yeah, so talk to, I guess, Gary about that, because, again, this is the Coalition's Patreon. It's not nothing to do with us.
It's not the Throwdown, yeah.
Yeah, so, we Throwdown doesn't have a Patreon yet. Actually, I don't know if I want to do a Patreon. I want to do things old school, not beg for money and any of that. But, yeah, thank you for dealing with a weird Throwdown, even though it's probably not weird for you guys just watching it now. It's just late, All right, so that's it. Once again, I was yours, Tony Polanco, joined by Emilio Lopez.
I'll see you later, guys. Oh, by the way, don't forget to buy Mosaic. Shill.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Brett Murdock.
It's been real, people.
And Brian Munjoma.
So, how long before we replace Brett with a black girl?
Oh, you guys are going to reboot me, aren't you?
And call her Brett.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's still going to be Brett Murdock, and she's going to be a black girl.
The role of Brett Murdock will now be played by Leon.
Yeah, horrible names. Come on.
Okay, just for that retard, just go, hey, just call it Shaniqua. Make her have a black afro, because that's not fucking dumb at all. It's not.
That's somehow better than Riri.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Later.
Later, people.
Yeah. Peace.